Okay, good evening. Please note that this meeting of the Recreation Commission on Monday, October the 3rd, 2022 is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18. And in accordance with the MCL Chapter 30, A20, the chair must inquire whether anyone is taping this meeting, and if you are, as the chair, can you please make your presence known?
Sandra Merritt, recording the meeting for purposes of taking the minutes.
Okay, thank you. So let's go through the roll call. Jim?
I am here.
Tim?
Mute here.
And Brendan?
Brendan is here.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask for a call for a motion for the minutes for the September meeting.
I will make that motion.
I am calling for a second.
Second.
Any discussion, any updates to the minutes for September 2022? Hearing none, I will ask for a vote. I'll call you by name, please, for the approval of the minutes. Jim?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And Brendan?
Yes.
The minutes are approved. Thank you very much, team. So we're going to start with any old business. Hearing none, we'll move into new business, and we have an update on the proposed 2023 fee changes, and I'll pass that on to John.
Good evening. Earlier today, Sandra sent an email on behalf of Mark and myself to introduce to you some proposed fee changes for 2023. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but just kind of give a general overview of the fee increases. So as many of you are aware, our seasonal salaries keep going up with the minimum wage increases. So as the state increases minimum wage by $1 or 75 cents this go around come January 1st, we in turn go up on our salaries. So therefore, the cost of, to do business in our programs go up. Also, with this is cost of goods have also gone up. So if we would normally buy a basketball for our young basketball players for maybe $6, $7, now our basketballs are costing us, upwards of $11, $12 per ball. And that's universal. With a soccer ball or buying a football, the cost of goods keep going up. Also, in particular with like our leisure program, the cost of transportation has significantly gone up on us. The cost to go on field trips, to go to the zoo or any sort of field trip, those vendors are charging more per participant to go to the zoo or Water Whiz or wherever else we take our kids. So to be able to still effectively run our programs, to keep them as affordable as possible, we do have to go up on fees. Some or most are just, slightly by, $5 or sometimes a little more than that. But that's due to the cost of business with paying seasonal staff, paying for goods, transportation, going on field trips, renting out facilities if we're doing them in other places like gymnastics or dance. So we have to kind of keep up with the times to match our costs. But again, we still offer financial aid. We offer grant money for those people that don't qualify for the financial aid. And we also do payment plans. So if a family doesn't receive financial aid, receive a grant, we can still put them on a payment plan to pay us so many bucks every week during the course of the program. So by the end of the program, they're all paid up and their child can participate again. We'd never want to leave a child out, and there's multiple ways for them to participate in our programs. And us, comparable to private entities, we're still by far the best game in town. So if you in particular look at our summer leisure program, we are half or more than half the cost of a private summer camp for 7 weeks. It's not even close. So even though we are going up, we're still significantly cheaper than any other camp in the area. And when you look at it, when you break it down per hour or per day, it's the cheapest daycare, the best daycare, the most fun they'll have at a very extremely affordable rate. So hopefully you guys had a chance to look at some of those, and I would, if Mark wants to chime in, we can certainly answer any questions you had on any of them, but a lot of it is due to the cost of, let's say, business going up. Therefore, we have to go up in our fees to be able to afford to do our activities. Mark, if you want to add anything.
I would only chime in on the end of HYCC, stating we took a $25 increase on our hourly fees on the rink and a $5 increase on the fees per hour in the gymnasium. And then our program, the only program we had out there is Learn to Skate. That's gone up, I think it was 6% and 5%. And then the other increases were for the things people pay for as they come one at a time, like the adult admissions, the admissions to the skating, and that's all gone up $1 across the board. As John was saying, we're trying to, recruit better staff, recruit professional staff down in the rink level, and just trying to, anticipate the future as far as replacing skates, replacing equipment, and so forth. The things we have to pay out of our pocket to replace it in the arena itself, and those would be our justifications for raising those rates. And they're still pretty competitive across the board against any rink on Cape Cod, or very competitive when it comes to the gym space. So that would be my addition.
Is this the last year of the minimum wage increase? Yeah.
As we know it, yes.
Could always go higher, but
as of January 1, it goes up to $15, and this was the last year that is on record. And that's why over the years we had to keep increasing because of this increase. And then with COVID, things have gone up in other areas. Again, it makes it more expensive for us to do programs. But again, we still try to make it as affordable as possible. And we try to keep our quality up as well. We want to make sure we're running high quality programs. These fees are due to the town manager's office by the end of the month. And then we go to a meeting on November 15th to present our fee increases to the town manager on November 15th. And usually he's looking for the blessing of the rec commission of the fees. He wants to know that, it's been talked about, discussed, approved. So that's kind of why we're presenting tonight for the upcoming meeting in November.
Obviously I hate to raise fees when we, if we don't have to. Is it right to assume that if we do not do this, we will be cutting services in programs and therefore, serving less people
And quality.
in quality? Yeah.
Potentially, yes. I mean, sometimes with the number of kids you have in a program and just with the minimum wage increases alone, you're at bare bones before you even talk about trying to buy any equipment for the program, buying the kids a t-shirt, doing those little things. Sometimes we do pizza parties for the kids, all those things that, make it special for them. So yeah, if we didn't increase, we would have to very closely look at those budgets and determine, what we'd have to do. I mean, hopefully with this ending hopefully in January 1st with the salary increases. Hopefully, Mark and I discussed today about hopefully for the next couple of years, we would not have to increase, our fees because we wouldn't have to worry about these salary increases every year. So that's where our hope is.
So John, I think you clearly stated it, that we still hold the philosophy that our goal is not to turn away any child from any recreation opportunity, and that we not only have those that qualify for financial aid, but if you still have a need and you don't fall under that category, there are other ways, and that I think you and your team have always gone above and beyond when there is a need to be true to not turning away any youth for the recreational services. So I think with that in mind, we will wait. Let's see if we have a motion, and then keep our ears open to hear anything that we may not have anticipated in terms of impact to the youth and the community. So do I have a motion for the, or any more questions about the updates from the
I just had
commissioner?
a quick question. How long is the Learn to Skate program? Like, that's not a one-time
No, it's a 6-week program.
6 week. Thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, most
Any
of our
other-
programs are ranging anywhere from 6 weeks to as many as 12 weeks, depending on the season or the program. But most of them are, 2 days a week for 8 weeks. Like Learn to Skate is only, one day a week. But the, cost to be on the ice and having professional staff teach the kids how to skate. Some programs are more expensive in that nature because you need a trained professional to teach someone how to specifically figure skate. It's not like you can get someone off the street to teach a skill like that. You need a specialized individual to do that, where, we can get 6 to 8 kids to teach a basketball program or a volleyball program because, kids grow up doing they know those sort of things, but there's not a lot of people that know how to teach fencing or skating or those things. And inherently in those sports, like a gymnastics, those sort of sports cost a little bit more because you're paying someone more money to do it. But yeah, our goal is never to shut anyone out. So, we plan on continuing to make our best efforts in doing that.
Okay, so do we have a motion on the floor to approve the price increases for the reasons as stated?
I will make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? So I will ask those in favor for the increases. Say aye.
Aye.
Brennan Burke says aye.
Thank you. And knowing that there are only a few of us, I will just say the motion. I don't know if I need to say the names. Let me just do that just for formalities. Jim, your vote is
Yes.
Tim
Yes.
and Brendan.
Yes.
And Renee, my vote is yes. So I think the motion has been moved, second, and approved. Thank you, Recreation Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the report from Mark on Hyannis Youth and Community Center staff report. Mark?
Thank you, Renee. Still looking for seasonal staff for our winter season, especially in the rinks. We've just finished our advertising campaign, rebooting our advertising campaign with Dasher ads, gym banners, and so forth. We've gone through the rinks, and these new ads are going up this week. They should be starting to go up this week. We touched on the fee increases. And the ice particularly, we're looking to have the Cranberry Classic Girls Cape Cod Waves Tournament back the end of November, November 25th through the 27th. They'll come in and kind of take over the whole building as they have in the past. And that's going to be a go. In the gym, we're back to full swing with our volleyball. Tonight we have the coaches, I think they call it the Dig Pink game. They do a lot of raffles and they donate to cancer research. That's tonight in our gym. Both Sturgis East versus Sturgis West will play in that. Our winter groups are back. We're finishing the touches on that schedule with Sturgis East and West back for basketball. Barnstable Youth Basketball will be back. And a few outlying groups will be back into the mix throughout the winter. Our SOAR program's going great. We're up to 31 kids, I believe now, coming here from BIS every day. There's a full day of school. That's going great. They're just getting picked up now. I don't know if you're hearing that beside me. And then our Learn to Skate, we'll be offering a session starting in November through December. That's, I believe, going live the end of this week, maybe early next week. That was a supplemental flyer that we weren't ready with it come the brochure. We were having some troubles nailing down some instructors, but now that's been all worked out, and that's going to be starting the first week of November. That's really where I stand right now. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions from the commissioners? All righty,
Thank you.
thank you. We're going to move on to John and your report, please.
All right, great, thank you. The past reclamation meeting that I was at kind of gave you an update about Osterville Bay Field. They're near completion. I think there was just some manufacturer delays in getting some of the netting and fencing finalized, but I was told by DPW that they'd be finishing up by October 5th. I've been receiving a couple calls from the neighborhood and they're pleased to hear that, just to kind of eliminate the fencing along First Ave and open up the area a little bit. Pickleball courts, even though we've been up and running now for almost a year, we're about to install some windscreens. It can get pretty windy down there, so that will help the players. And we're still waiting on benches and tables to be delivered from the manufacturer almost a year and a half from ordering them. Still dealing with lots of supply chain demand issues there, but once those are up, there'll be places for players to sit, watch people play, or just sit in an area after they're playing and waiting for their next game. You might find a surprise, but George Noonan and myself are getting certified as lifeguards. We are trying to replace Patty and Tim McGrath that were formerly with the rec division and had that knowledge and expertise. George is going to continue on to get more certifications in that background because he will be leading the beach operation. And I just felt it was good for me to have that knowledge as a lifeguard as well, even though I've helped Patty run the beaches for 19 years. It's good for me to have that certification as a lifeguard. So if I go to trainings, I can actually help out and know what I'm talking about per se, than just there as like moral support. So we should be finishing that up in the next couple weeks. And then we'll be officially certified as lifeguards.
So I have a question here for a moment.
Yep.
And so I like that. Thank you all for stepping up to be backfill in times when we need it. So will George be at some point able to teach the course as well as be a certified lifeguard? Is that the thought?
Correct. Yeah. So in order to keep advancing, you have to have the basic level certification. So he has to be a lifeguard first. Then he can get certified as a water safety instructor, which would give him knowledge about our swimming lessons and how the lifeguards teach those lessons. And then from there, you can get the instructor trainer certifications as a WSI and as a lifeguard. So therefore, he could then teach classes to potential lifeguards to keep that flow of employees into our beach operations. Instead of having to outsource that for someone else to teach it, we could do it all internally, and that's the goal. But we have to start at the basic level, as him being a lifeguard, to then going. And this is not going to be a quick thing here. It takes a little while for it to happen. I think they have to be a lifeguard for such period of time, and then he can go for the other certifications. So it might not be all in place by this coming summer. It might be the following summer, but at least we're on the trend of getting that taken care of.
Right, thank you.
That's the goal. Because with those staff changes that we had, we were hit with 2 people that left with all that knowledge. And even though I'm still around, I have the knowledge of the overall beach operations, but not specifically as being a lifeguard. I was never certified myself. So this will give me some more knowledge in the area as well, which again is always helpful. We went over the fee changes like Mark said. I also, this past week, heard from some parents about there were some issues with transportation at the high school because of the lack of bus drivers. I think there was some bus drivers out with injuries, COVID, and some athletic teams couldn't have a game or a match. So I reached out to the new athletic director to let him know that we have two recreational vans. If they ever need support with transportation, like a coach could, get in the van and take 8 to 10 kids in a golf match and go to, Nauset, DY, or whoever they were playing, and not miss out on a match because of lack of transportation. So I reached out to the AD to let him know that was an option, and he was very thankful and appreciative that could potentially work for them. And I also reached out this month to the new principal at BIS. Very nice guy, new to the area, new to the school, about the use of the gym for our basketball programs. In 2019, they started back up middle school sports. So some of you were probably in middle school when they had those. I know Brendan was coaching for me when we kind of took over those middle school sports teams because they didn't have them at the time. And I see the benefit of both. I see the benefit of having a school team represent Barnstable and going to play Mattakese or Nauset or whoever they're playing. I definitely see the benefit of that. But since they've done that, we've lost out on a significant number of kids playing basketball. So if Brendan can remember, we would have 72 boys playing basketball after school, 6 teams
It was
of 12
electric.
kids.
We had everybody.
And it was phenomenal. But then 2019 hit, and that year we had 0 kids playing rec basketball. 2020, we had around 20 kids, but we were the only game in town doing basketball, so that was the only option for them. 2021, they got back to middle school sports teams, and we were back to having 0 kids because we're forced to go at night. So a lot of recreational kids like the convenience of going after school and playing basketball right after school. We're trying to get back to that model because that's where we're getting the kids. And for me, it's about getting as many kids as possible playing and not the select few, because the select few that are on the middle school team are also the select few on the travel basketball team. So those really good kids are getting service twice. And those marginal kids that want to play for fun, want to hang out with their friends, are probably decent at basketball, but they just don't want to take it serious, or they've never taken it serious. Now those kids aren't getting any services because we don't have enough kids to form any league. So I want to get back to running something where we're having a decent amount of kids out there. So the discussions are still happening, and I'm hoping that we can work something out. And I'll update you as that goes.
Yeah, I do think that's important, John. I really do think that coming now out of COVID, getting the students back and active, and as many of the youth that can participate. So I'm looking forward to your update there, and let us know as commissioners if there are any ways that we can help you with that. Sure. Because I think that that's so important.
Yeah, I think the more kids that we have playing will better suit the community in general and better suit the high school's need in the future. I mean, all of us know of that 8, 9, 10-year-old that is the complete dominate on the mound in baseball, the biggest, tallest, strongest kid in basketball, but that's not to say they're going to be that when they're 16. And if we're cutting them off at age 10 or 11, that doesn't give them room to grow and prepare for high school. And they might not come back again. They might not play ever again because we didn't have any opportunities for them in that middle school range. So I just want as many kids to play as possible, whether it's serious competitive travel or school ball, or whether it's, just recreational, having fun with your friends basketball. So we'll see where that goes. Beaches are, obviously are wrapped up. We cleaned up the sites. We turned those over to DPW, and we're doing our annual calendar for the staff, and we'll send out a thank you letter and give them a calendar in the near future. Fall programs are a couple weeks in. Things are going really well. We had a couple new programs with the Tiny Tykes toddler program. It was called Tiny Tykes and Treasure Hikes, where Kelly and some staff will take kids to different areas and do these treasure hikes in the community. And so far, there's been a huge success with the parents involved. They're just looking for someone to do something for them that they don't have to prepare and plan themselves. And it gives them a chance to kind of hang out where someone can lead the way as they're kind of like walking and talking with themselves. So a good time for them to socialize. And we're in the stages of planning more toddler stuff, whether they're outside the building or at the HYCC, to do some more toddler things during the day for families to come over and do some activities. And then we have a new collaboration with a program with Creative Arts called with Cape Cod Can. They do some stuff with special needs, but it's also inclusive for any kid to join in and do some creative arts classes. We're currently working on the brochure. Things are due to me by the end of next week. Then probably in a week and a half time, we'll complete that brochure and have it up online, sent to the printer, and have ready for registration coming up in November 3rd or the 17th for non-residents. So we're looking forward to getting into the next thing. I mean, usually like a week and a half after the beaches, we're into fall. And now, even though we're 3 weeks into fall, we're already preparing
Into
for
winter.
winter. So it's just one thing after the next, never any time to breathe. And then we started back up our multi-adaptive sport program at the HYCC. They come to the gym on Thursdays at 1 o'clock. Mark, George, Mickey have all been involved in that, where they come play kickball, capture the flag, different activities. Different groups come and play different activities, and that's back come September. And we're also working with the YMCA to provide free after-school snacks. So we already do this with the SOAR program at the HYCC with Mark, but we're looking to extend that to some of the other schools where we're doing programs. So those kids will have snacks after school, where they can, have a little something to eat and then get into our programs, because they don't get picked up until 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending on the activity. And if they don't have something to eat, this will give them a little something to tide them over until they get picked up.
And I think with the YMCA brand, those are healthy snacks.
Yes, healthy snacks. They do like apples and oranges or those things of nature, all healthy, good for the kids, which, obviously we promote as well. Being in recreation, we want those kids to be eating healthy so they can participate in a positive way and not sugar them up with candy or bad food before they get out there and play something. But that's my report for the month. If you have any questions, be glad to answer.
Any questions from the commissioners?
No, just repeating, I hate middle school basketball.
Yeah, we're hoping to get
Just
that
throwing it out there, they don't really play any other sport but basketball, right? They don't do middle school baseball. I'd love for them to play middle school baseball, believe me. And I because it's like there's no place for anyone to go. Well,
yeah, they do in the fall. I know they do soccer and cross country. In the wintertime, they do just basketball. In the spring, I believe they just do track and field, if I'm not mistaken.
okay. So it's like, I mean,
But
yeah, it's legitimately like 60 kids that are like just kicked out of basketball because the same kids that are on the 7th grade team, travel team, play this. It's ridiculous. But
yeah, so we're trying to get it back to see what we can do. Yeah, it used to be a very thriving program with a lot of kids. We took over when they cut middle school sports, and we came in and don't call us heroes, but we gave those kids an opportunity to do something. And again, I understand the value of bringing it back, but when you bring something like that back, the flip side is those recreational kids are losing out, and I want to try to reverse that.
And just throwing out there, just so if someone's listening, it's a 6th, 7th grade middle school. So like, yeah, against Mattakese, they'll be fine. But when they play a real middle school with 8th graders, they get crushed and everything, right? So it's,
So we'll see.
I see it every winter, Brendan. You're absolutely right. Go to watch the games, and one team, Nauset's got 8th graders playing against 6th graders. Tough.
All righty. Any other questions for John? John, what's going on with our youth commissioner and them participating in our monthly meetings?
Yeah.
Can I pipe in on that?
Thank you.
John, is that all right?
Go ahead.
It used to be when Patty was running the commission, she always sent the information to the youth commissioners. I know it was brought up at the youth commission meeting. It was discussed, and Lake O'Reilly and I think it might have been Mary, 2 of them were to come tonight, and then I don't believe they got George and I need to nail it down, because he's now running the youth commission, and he's doing the agenda and whatnot. I guess I thought he would have I should have touched base with them, sent the agenda to the commissioners with the link, but I'm guessing they never received that information. That's why they're not here tonight, because they did decide to come today.
Well, we'll get that ironed out for next month, but I know they're working on the Substance Abuse Forum. They're working on other things like One Love. But yeah, I'll definitely get them here for next meeting. And I think they're meeting with the new superintendent this month as well. So I'll get them to send an update for you guys when they're at the next meeting.
Thank you very much. All right, update on the CPC report. Jim, are there any updates for us?
All of our meeting got canceled last month because all the applicants asked to be pushed to this month. So we have a meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay, very good. Any matters not reasonably anticipated or public comment? Hearing none, I would ask for I should also, every opportunity that we have, we currently have 3 seats available for the Recreation Commission. It is a worthy opportunity to help support every aspect of recreation in our town. And if you are interested, you can find information on the website, or you can contact John Gleason at HYCC, or myself, Renee King, as the chair. So we currently have 3 openings, and we hope that someone in our listening audience will think about joining us, and we will definitely help you to understand how to get started. I will also say that the leadership class for the town, the fall leadership class did not take place, but there is the possibility of having a fall leadership class. Any questions there from the commissioners? All righty, so I'm going to ask for a motion to close the meeting. Our next meeting will be Monday, I believe November the 7th. Is that November? Yes, the 7th. Do I have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
seconded. I seconded.
Thank you, Brendan. All righty, so we are going to close tonight's meeting. Thank you, John and Mark, for your updates.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night,
Have a
everyone.
good night.
We'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.